Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Beyond Max Q. I'm Mollie Jahner, your host, and I am joined today by a dear friend. Her name is Pamela Potts. She is the founder and CEO of Leader Coach Approach. And I have to say, I have so enjoyed getting to know her over the last few months. Her story, how she presents herself, how she helps others is really exciting and inspiring. And I think we're in for a treat today to just hear a little bit about how she approaches leadership. So, with that, Pamela, if you wouldn't mind kicking it off.
Yes. Well, it is great to be here, and thank you very much. And I appreciate all the work that you're doing and the encouragement that you give to the leaders. Yes, we talked a little bit about leader coach approach, and so just to give you a little background on that, I wrote a book called Every Leader is a Coach, and the company then is called Leader Coach Approach. So my whole idea around leadership and what I have seen to be true is that leaders really need to know how to develop their teams.
Hmm.
And it's something that we have not been taught how to do. And because as a leader, what we're doing is we're getting results with people, through people, not just as our standalone high
Hmm.
performer, highly driven person that oftentimes we are. And even if you're starting your own business, you're highly driven and
Hmm.
you're used to doing things and pushing through and being unstoppable. And I think there's a better way to work.
Well, I love that, and I think as you know, we have so many founders in the audience. I myself, being a founder, being a CEO, I was never taught how to lead. I mean, what does that look like? I mean, you kind of grow into it, but I feel like you kind of are forced into this role and so many others. You're CFO, you're the chief business development officer, you're product officer, all the things. How do you lead well? What are some tips that you have for founders?
Mm. My first tip is know when you're at your best. Know what is yours to do. There are things as a founder, and I know I'm living it right now too. I have people that are around me that help me in areas, but I also know that there's a lot that I have to just pick up and figure out and do along the way. But I know when I'm at my best. And that's the key is that one of the things that I learned is really understanding like when am I in that place of a high performance zone, and can I know what it is specifically so I can repeat it and know that that's mine to focus on.
Hmm.
So if you are really paying attention to what you're doing, you're going to have clues. Okay, our energy has clues. So it's not just skill based
Nice.
strengths. What it is really looking at what energizes you and what lights you up, and
Yeah.
being super clear on those things and how that drives you to be high performing when you're in what I call kind of that sweet spot or that place of flow, in
Hmm.
that flow zone. The other part of it, and this is where I really did learn the hard way, and that is when I'm drained, it's not
Hmm.
a weakness. When I'm drained, it's not something that I just need to power through and just ignore. When I'm drained, I realize that it's not my best to do. And if it's still something, if we're at the point in our business where it's still something that we have to do, then do it in a way that is actually energizing for you instead of continuing just to power through. So I'll
What's
give you
an
an
example of
example.
that? Yeah. What's an
Yeah.
example of that?
Yeah. Let me give you an example. When I was writing my book, I am a very much of an extrovert. I am a relationship person.
Hmm.
I am an external processor.
Hmm.
So when I'm writing, it's me and the computer for hours at a time.
Hmm.
What I had to do is visualize somebody sitting next to me that I was coaching and working
Hmm.
with and trying and mentoring and trying to teach them. When I could do that and I could feel that person like that I'm speaking to, it gave me a reference and kept it personal and kept it relational instead of it me just being me in the computer. And it helped me do that. Now, is that my best work and my favorite thing to do? Probably not, but it's something that I have to do. It's mine to own. So that's an example of figuring out a way of how to do things in a way that's still going to bring you energy, not drain you so bad that you just get burned out.
Hmm. Well, can we talk about conflict resolution too? Because I think that nobody, I mean, maybe some people like that. I don't know. I think the majority of people don't enjoy conflict resolution, but as a founder, it's going to be one of your main jobs because you are the CEO and founder. So, can you talk a little bit about what that would look like, even if it drains your energy? Like, how do you do that well?
Yes. Well, this is my biggest tip for you. Look at conflict as information
Mm,
rather than judging it. So if I'm not getting along with someone or we see team members that you can feel it, you can feel the energy when they're not talking to each other or where they don't want to be in the room together. If you can go, "Oh, that's interesting," we're first of all noticing it.
mhm,
We have to learn how to observe and pay attention to that. And then when we notice that, what we want to do is get to why is there a conflict?
mhm,
And what I've found to be true is most of the time the conflict is just because of different perspectives.
mhm,
It's a different way of approaching the work, or it's a different perspective that they don't feel like someone else honored their perspective. So we have to learn how to bring people together, just have a conversation about what's actually the reasoning why.
mhm.
And so if I know who I am and know how my triggers are, and I know somebody else's, then we can work through the triggers and innovate together.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. Well, and tell the audience, because I know a little bit of your background, but tell the audience kind of where you've been and where you've gone. Or, you sold your company. You've been through, I mean, you've coached at the highest of levels in terms of enterprise, CEOs. And so just talk a little bit about that, if you would mind.
Yes. Well, first of all, this is my seventh startup. That Leader Coach Approach is my seventh. I've exited a few of them and I've closed a couple. So you know what? If any of you have gone through closing and also, exiting, you know what that's like. And the privilege that I've had is to be able to really get into this coaching space. I've always loved leadership development, but I came from tech education. So was really in that tech world, software development, database development, web development, um, all the technology things
Hmm.
for a long time. And that led to really me being able to simplify things really difficult and create processes around that. And that's where did find that leadership is with people,
Hmm.
obviously. People are not a formula.
Yeah.
Yet, when we can really understand and hold that space for people, then we can learn how to actually communicate in a way where the people hear us and we can keep the door open, keep that
Hmm.
open mindset instead of the closed mindset.
Yes.
Um, but I have had an opportunity to work with the largest companies in the world, all over the world, and
Mhm.
with small scaling startups. So I've really had the opportunity to work with all sizes.
What's the difference between those two in your
Mm,
opinion?
you know what? Leaders are leaders. It doesn't matter if you're with a big company or with a small startup. You want to bring most of the time, what I found is
Mhm,
that people want to bring their best. They want to do
mhm,
good work. And they wanna surround themselves with people that also wanna do work,
mhm,
and good work, and that's really if that is really the goal and the heart of the
mhm.
person, then I can teach them.
Yeah.
Okay, the relationship building and the coaching and holding that space as a leader, those are skills that we can learn, but it
No,
has to be something that you want, that you value, like,
that's
if
true.
that's something that's
So
important to you.
so what if you find yourself in a leadership position reluctantly? How do you, maybe that doesn't energize you, but it's something that's the place you're in your career. How would you advise somebody like that?
Mm. So that is a really thoughtful perspective. I do think that people think that leadership is something that they have to do. You have to lead to get ahead.
Mhm,
And if that's what you're in for is it to be about you and getting ahead, then I think you're in the wrong spot. Because leadership is not about you, it's about getting results through people and creating a team. Now, together, what we want to do is we all want to rise together. Okay, we want to do good work together. But
mhm.
if the pure motivation for leading and managing people is to get ahead, then I think you got to really look at why is that? and what is the reasoning, and getting a little deeper into what's your purpose and
Mhm.
what are the values that we hold, so we can pull out the things. Even if you're in your head, you're thinking, "Oh, this is the next step,"
Mhm.
and you're probably not loving it. Because now you have to give away a little bit of control. You have to
Mhm.
let other people help you or you help them. It has to be a two-way street.
Right. I think that's hard, at least for me. And I don't know if other founders feel this way, but the letting go and kind of just letting other people do things, and that's hard. But like you said, you're helping lead through people, achieving through people, which is a good perspective, I think.
It's always a challenge too, especially when you've gotten a lot of skills and you've learned how to do things and you push through because you've had to learn. Even if it's not something that maybe you love to do, you've learned how to do it, and it's hard to give I know it's hard to give it away.
It
You
is.
have a certain way. So here's what I want you to always think about is what is the end result that you're trying to achieve? Now, if I tell you how I want to have it done step by step by step,
Mhm.
that is never going to be the same way as how you would decide it. I
Mhm.
I learned this in software development when I played the role as I got into more leadership with software. One of the companies that I sold is um, in the front end development. I got into the back end development and
Mhm.
software as a service. Um, in combining in our companies,
Mhm.
and so I took on a lot more of the business development role and the product development side,
Mhm.
and so I wasn't coding. So what I had to do was figure out how we're gonna build this, who's gonna be the architect,
Yep.
these types of things. And what I found is that different people would have different approaches,
Mhm.
and everyone would do things just a little bit different. And the end result would often be the same because that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to get to the end result, but how you get there is
Mhm.
gonna be completely different. You can talk to 10 different coders, and they're
Yeah.
gonna take 10 different approaches, and all of them could be right. It's just a
Mhm.
different way to look at it. So I wanna really and challenge you in looking at if you're having somebody else or you need to let go of things,
Mhm.
then what are the things that are the most draining for you to let go of, first of all? And then what is the end result that you're trying to get?
Mhm.
And how can you then let somebody else figure out how,
Mhm.
and you just have the what and the end goal?
Oh, I like that, the how. Well, and can you talk about burnout? Because I think those things are probably pretty connected.
Mm, mhm. Well, you've heard me say power through a
Yeah.
little bit. So when we're in this here's again,
I'm a
I'm giving
classic
my
power througher. Like I'm like, I grew up in that house where it's like, suck it up, buttercup, like it's like you got to do it and figure it out. And so, like, that's totally the style, especially being an eldest. Like, raise your hand, you're a recovering eldest daughter. That's totally my style. So, how do you avoid burnout, or what can you do to remediate if you're feeling like you're burning out?
mm, I believe that burnout is an energy problem.
Okay.
So if you think about the things that are energizing you and draining you, you
Hmm.
need to know what those 2 are.
Hmm.
And it's not and please go into if you're gonna be doing any of this kind of personal, self-awareness work, you've gotta raise your hand with me and say this. I will stay curious
I'm going to stay curious, Pam.
and not judgmental. Okay, don't judge it. What you observe, you can't judge. What we don't wanna do is think, "Oh, what I'm drained by, I actually need to manage it more.
Hmm.
I need to use all of my time management skills to schedule my time to be able to get this project done."
Hmm.
Yes, maybe there are times that we have to do that as a founder. And I also know that we can't continue to push that hard in things that drain us.
Got it.
We've got to understand what energizes us and drains us.
Hmm.
And as quickly as you can, let go. Hire somebody to do the things that are draining for you.
Hmm.
And if you have to manage it because you maybe can't afford to hire somebody in that pairs right now, or you've got to, you got to get it done in the next couple of
Hmm.
days or whatever that looks like, then just make sure that what energizes you so you can give a high energy activity.
Mm.
So you're not always pushing and draining and using it all. And then you're so exhausted at the end of the
Yeah.
day that you have nothing. and your brain is isn't working. It's like,
Yep.
we get it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
tired.
I love that. No, that's well said. Well, and you are a founder again. And so I want to ask you some questions from the founder side. What is it like starting over? And I know you have a vision
Mm,
board, and I want you to talk about that.
yeah. Yeah. What is it like starting over again? I It's been a really interesting journey because I am really self-aware. I've done a lot of deep work, so I know what are the things that light me up and that I
Uh-huh.
really enjoy. And as a founder and getting started again, there are some things that I just refuse to do,
Mhm.
literally. Okay. And because we've talked about that. So there are some things that I just like, I don't have any energy to do this. If
When
that's what's
you love
required of me.
spreadsheets, right? Like that jazzes you up. You're like, give me all the Excel all day long. And I'm like, that's the worst thing I could
Yeah.
possibly do.
I like spreadsheets for performance. I
Yes, yes,
like, how
that's
are
what it
we
was.
going to make money?
Yeah.
You know,
You like to
how are we going
pour
to
over them. And I was like, the what? Like, and you're like, this makes me so happy.
Yes, because I realize that I enjoy the spreadsheets when I'm
Yes.
trying to project how am I going to utilize my time,
Yep.
how am I going to make money, what are the different products that we're going to sell, or what are we going to do around that. Outside of that, I have little detail orientation for like finances and numbers. Don't ask me to do my taxes because, well, I am doing I have to do my taxes. That's one
Paying
example.
them, just so everyone's
Right?
clear on this, we just don't like to do them.
We don't. We don't enjoy them. Just look at what you procrastinate around.
I'm
That's
gonna
so
tell the
easy.
IRS that. I'm like, "You know what? This is causing me to burn out. This doesn't energize me. I'm just not gonna do it." Let's see what they say.
Yeah. I could write a really good email about that.
Pam told me I didn't have to do it if it didn't make me happy, so
That's the challenge, right? Is that we have things that we have to do. So
Yeah.
we know that we have to own it. And so we just have to really understand what it is because it
Mm,
changed for me when I realized it's energizing me or draining me. It's not something that it's a weakness and now I have to get more skills to get better at it. It's a different thing. So be aware of that so
yeah.
that when you do hire, which is what I have people that are
Mhm,
external and you're one of my powerhouses here that helps me with marketing because I know that's your sweet spot and it's not mine.
mhm,
So I know that's something that as soon as I can hire somebody to do these things, this is what I want to let go. So keep your list on these are the things that I don't enjoy doing. I know I might have to have it in my list of and manage
mhm,
it, but as soon as we can let go of that. So that's me starting over. What I've loved about this is I'm such more self-aware, so
mhm,
I know what is not something that I enjoy to do that I can get rid of.
mhm.
It's also something that I realize that until you can, hire, it's sometimes you gotta own it.
Yeah. Well, talk about your vision board because I think that's
Yeah,
super fun. And I
yeah.
actually had not considered having, when I think of a vision board, I think of Pinterest and I think of like decorating my house. But this is like a vision board, like for your career, which is super cool. So can you talk about that a little
Mhm.
bit?
Yeah. I have statements and it's on cute little pieces of paper like this. Hey, actually my prayer that I do every day on the prayer of Jabez. So this is
I love
my
that.
little note about that. But I have a vision board right on my wall right over here to my left. And what I have on there are my aspirations.
Hmm.
And it's said in a way that I am there.
Hmm.
So I have these things that I know that I want to achieve and I want to get to that place. And I hold that space. I even have $1 million check
That's
that I
exciting.
have written
I
out.
read something about Jim Carrey doing that. Like he wrote like $1 million check. Was it Jim Carrey? And he wrote
Yes.
this $1 million check and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm writing this before I have it because I know that I'm gonna make it. And I was like, that's
Hmm.
amazing. Are
Hmm.
you doing the same thing?
I have it written. I have a dream and very strong desire to be able to give $1 million to this big nonprofit that I work with a lot. So I wrote it out to them. I
Very
signed
cool.
it. I don't have it dated. And I like have a little holding spot of like
I got
This is
chills. I love that. That's gonna be so great
yes,
because
and
it's
I
gonna
have to
happen.
see it. We have to see it. Right? We have to see it and believe it and keep speaking life over it, and, if it's not mine to do, then I don't want it, but if it stays as a desire in my heart,
Mhm.
then I hang on to it, and I'm a little tenacious bulldog when it
I love
comes
it.
to, like, going after my things that I want.
I think every founder needs to be that way. I mean, passion and grit are the main tenets, I think, for being able to sustain. Because really, at the end of the day, some luck plays into it, and some talent, but it's really about withstanding the waves and making it to the end. And you can make it longer than all of your other competition. But we always keep these short, so I kind of want to round out. Is there anything that you would say to founders? CEOs, and those scaling companies.
If it's not working, the thing that I have learned is that can you pivot just a little bit?
Mhm,
Be willing to fail fast. And if it's not working exactly how it is, then you can pivot. Sometimes just a little pivots, a little tweaks will
mhm,
allow it to work. So try, be willing to try. And don't think of failing as bad. Think of failing as learning.
mhm,
And that has been the best tool that I have had. And I said this before when we were talking about self-awareness, but I if I could say anything, stay curious and not judgmental. Whether
mhm,
it's failure, whether it's something that happens to you, whether it is a roadblock or what what is this all about? Like just
mhm,
ask a question. I literally in my mind, like, that is interesting. I wonder why that is happening right now, or I wonder what that's all about. I stay open because I literally feel that when we stay curious and we're
mhm,
open-minded, it's like our hands are open and we're
mhm,
learning and willing to learn. We're willing to hear, I like to ask God, like, what is this? So,
mhm,
sometimes we just have to hold it just a little bit and get clarity on that. Sometimes we need to pivot. So there are a lot of there are a lot of different things that we have to do as
mhm,
founders, and if we can be kind to ourselves, don't forget about your own self,
mhm.
stay curious, don't go down the dark rabbit hole that we can do because
Yeah,
it's discouraging sometimes. Honestly, I think that is why we need to be around other founders because
yeah,
we all know that it's hard
yep, yep. Well, and having
and
mentors and for the longest time I was skeptical of like, oh, okay, like leadership, coaching, like, do I need that? Is that real? And then you start to talk to people who are really good at their craft, like really good at it, like you are, and a few others that I know and I really deeply respect. And you're like, wow, it's like you said, like I don't know what I don't know. And I certainly don't know what I don't know about me because I've never done that kind of work before. And so it's so good. And the changes that happen because you're willing to learn those things and the way you can lead outside of it. So really, really cool things that Pam's doing. I encourage everyone to go check out the leadership coach approach. I have found a lot of value in it, and I think that there's a lot of really cool things that Pam is doing. Can you talk a little bit about what 2026 holds for you?
yes. 2026 is just everything's been prepared and now it's like it's jumping and running,
Mhm,
running faster is what I feel like I'm doing. I wrote a book called Every Leader's a Coach that I released a year ago, and then it's been putting all these things together so that I can scale. And I have felt that now I am more prepared than I have ever been prepared, and 2026
mhm.
is my year to really, really move fast.
I love it. That's amazing. Well, and I think everybody wants to run fast in 26 alongside you. What we always end with the same question. What are you currently reading?
What am I currently reading? There is a book that I just started. I'm about 3 or 4 chapters in from Brooke Thomas. Is that Activate Your Impact?
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
I'm excited. Well,
Yeah.
I'll link everything in the description, the book, Pam's website, her book, which you can go check out, and all the different things, and we'll post about it. And I again encourage you to connect with Pam and just see what she's all about. Thank you very much for your
Thank
time
you.
today. It was a pleasure having you on.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.